maintenance fee, right?
No, this is strictly, no, sir, it
That-
does not.
okay.
It does not. Okay, now we jump.
Excuse me, what did we ever do with that?
Hmm?
That city maintenance fee, what did we use it for? Do we still buy equipment for the maintenance?
It goes into the general budget, and then we transfer it to PUB and to the public, to our, people to use. It just goes into the general budget.
Let's,
Then Public Works utilizes it plus an additional $3 million or $4 million
if
added
you,
to that.
Commissioner, if you did not have that maintenance fee, it adds up to about 6 cents on the tax rate. So what do we want? We want to raise the tax rate by 6 cents, or we want to eliminate that fee? I mean, that's how,
It's being used.
but it's being used. It's,
Yeah, 'cause I had a constituent call me and asked a question, how much has been collected from PUB, on that 450 total, up to now? And how much has been, sent to, how much has been spent on street sweepers? Well, I'm reading this thing right now, City Ordinance number 2000-856 and it says, maintenance of city easements and right-of-way shall be defined to mean that the sweeping of city streets and other beautification and maintenance services, but not including garbage collection. Where is it, several things, not only street sweepers, right? Can you elaborate on that?
well, it's, when this, I'll be honest with you, when this maintenance fee came about was just like you did with the 2 cents, the $2. What do? Do we raise taxes or do we create a fee? And the fee was created. And I'm being honest with you. That's what happened.
Now, let's be careful with that fee. It wasn't approved by the city commission, yet the fee is in place. Not based on approval by this body.
Okay.
It's been just,
Right.
it's in place.
Are you talking about the $2?
Which
No,
one are you
we've been told that it didn't pass.
Which one are we
Right.
talking about?
The $2 didn't pass. I was just told by city attorney, city secretary, those $2 didn't pass. So we're gonna find other alternatives, we're gonna do other things, and I think that's where he's going with the $4. Well, why don't we get $2 from there and put it into what the mayor was asking for? But are we running the risk of,
Commissioner,
everything's intertwined now, right?
it's all, just look at yourself.
Put it in the general fund.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Put it in the general
It's
fund,
one-
and it's used
it's,
because you can get it for maintenance and other things. It's not just street sweepers. It
Right.
indicates specifically that there are other items that it can be used
And
for.
Mr. Gonzalez, and that's what was addressed weeks ago. It wouldn't hurt if we put a group together to look at it, research it, and let's think it through. I mean, let's put people that want to help. But that didn't happen.
I'll make sure and put that on
Yeah.
the agenda for,
Yeah.
next meeting or so.
and again, there is
Ramos is happy.
there is
I just
more.
want everybody to know, we don't have all the answers, and
Yeah.
sometimes things are done, and there's, sense of urgency to get things done, and
Yeah,
me personally, I like getting things done instead of starting committees. Committees are for people that are gonna for other people who can't make decisions. Yes, some of these committees do help out, but you know what? It's done, the $2 didn't pass,
Oh.
and we'll look for other alternatives. I mean, that's the way we gotta go.
Uh,
I'm sure the mayor wanted us to look at all different alternatives, and we still can, and in that
I think Mr.
sense,
Gonzalez-
maybe a committee would work.
I think Mr. Gonzalez indicated that we could possibly raise the tax rate on property values a small percentage
Yeah.
and collect significant revenues. Now,
Either
whether or
way,
not
we're
we
gonna
wanna
get
do
it, we
that-
raise taxes, we're,
I like that idea a lot.
you know.
I don't know if I like that idea, but I mean, it's
No, it's better than the $2, I tell you what, you know.
Yeah, Commissioner, and Mayor Pro Tem, let's go back to the budget for 2000, and I've got that on that slide here. And this is very, very summarized. If you look at the fees and services, the maintenance fee is included in fees and services. The budget right now is $16,489,492. I'm looking on slide number 4. But look at the expenses. Look at when you look at 2008, and we'll be presenting the 2008 budget, how much can you reduce from the 88 million? It is high. I know that in 2007 we allocated almost $2 million for streets. And you have seen the work that the Public Works Department has done this few past months, that our streets are looking better. But will that continue? We are going to have to issue, we have about, I think, another 6 million, I believe, or 5 million more in general obligation bonds that will be coming to you for you to issue. That would be the remaining amount that was from the 35 million that was approved in 2001. So, again, my emphasis is that the city does not have enough resources to carry out all its functions, and that's the way it is. So hopefully we can get better. Let me jump over to the Convention and Tourism Fund. This is for the hotel motel tax. If you look at our I'm going to refer to the book because there's more information here than on the slide. If you look on page 50 of the blue book, we are generating more hotel tax this year than we did last year. If you see around town, you look at all the new hotels that are coming in.
We're almost up 20% on that, right?
Yes, we're look on page 50. That tells you how well we're doing on the hotel motel tax, and now the hotel motel tax, and I don't want to go too much into it because we are going to be talking about this fund when we talk to you about the 2008 budget. But some of the monies that we collect go to the Bureau, the Convention Bureau, along with various museums and Dean Porter Park. Not Dean Porter Park, Dean Porter Zoo. Gladys Porter Zoo. Well, got them all wrong here. But anyway, just to let you know that the Convention and Tourism Fund is doing well because of the increase in the hotel motel tax. I'm not going to spend enough time here on the Community Development Fund. Community Development Fund is strictly a grant, and money comes in, money goes out. It's never in the red, and we never have a surplus, we never have a deficit. The non-bonded debt, I'm covering all the funds that the city has. This is the non-bonded debt. This money is actually money that the general fund transfers to this particular fund to pay some of the current leases that we have. The debt service fund. This is a major fund that the city has. This is where this debt service gets its money from the property tax, and the property tax pays for the principal and interest of all the outstanding bonds that we have. We have another payment coming up in August. Our estimated fund balance is going to be around $1.5 million at the end of the year, but again, the majority, the monies that we get here is from the property taxes. We've collected about 14 million in property taxes to pay all those particular bonds. The landfill tipping fee increase fund, we get landfill fees, garbage fees, and there's the other fee, the federal unfunded compliance and environmental fee. That's a fee that the PUB, it's in the PUB bill. We've recognized $1,396,577. And then there's expenses along the way. Fund balance at the end of June, $333,480. Now, none of the funds that we have, we don't allow any fund to be in the deficit. That's one of our goals every year. So every time that there is a fund that runs in a little bit of trouble, the general fund kicks in the money. Airport, and this is one fund that the city general fund transfers monies to. It's a subsidy. Right now through June, we had transferred $1,710,862. Now, I'm being told by our airport director, who was working real hard to get some of the revenues by renting some of the buildings, and that they're going to be rented pretty soon, hopefully, and hopefully we can get more generate more revenue from the what we call the non-aeronautical revenue. But this is a fund that also has a fire station, and they have to take care of those expenditures associated with the fire station, and so that's something they incur. Again, that little slide shows a $117,000 deficit, but we are going to transfer more because we have a $2.6 million, I believe it's $2.6 million that we're going to be transferring to the airport fund this year. Let me check just to make sure that it's $2.6 million. Yeah, $2.6 million that we're going to be transferring to the airport. And again, like I said earlier, the reason why we didn't sell some of those buildings that we had intended to sell. Bridge fund doing well, and again, the money goes to the general fund. This gives you slide 21 shows how well the bridge fund. There is a slight decrease in their operations so far, 84,308. The motor vehicle parking system fund, again, this is all for the downtown area. It's all doing well. Public transit, they're incurring a little bit more of maintenance expenditures, operations. Their revenues are remaining steady. The Brownsville Golf Center, we had some downtime or down months during the year, and I believe that we're going to have to come back to you sometime before the end of the year to probably ask for an additional cash transfer to take care of the current.
Let me ask you something. Every year, it's always losing about $300,000, right?
Well, we consider the golf course, or it's another park, and
who's we?
Well, I guess the city. But we need to raise probably the green fees. Mr. Keller, I guess he's here in the audience, that he probably could address. I know that we had
gotta get people to go play golf, man.
I know we had a very bad January, and this is where the winter tourists are here during the winter months.
Do you want to hear the excuses for the golf course, or do you want to go on with the budget?
You want to?
That's an every year thing. It is a park, number one, for people to go play golf, which I don't. But we did have some bad months. We did close it down because we deepened the ponds and added ponds
To try and help on the drainage system.
to assist the neighborhood, not only the Brownsville Country Club area with flooding issues. So we did have some downtime. We had some terrible weather in January, February, so where we had to close it down because it was too wet to play, and I guess that's occurring now also. But the Parks Director and the people that work there are showing promise that it is getting better. Of course, now with the rain, the grass looks better. So I've talked to some people that are saying they're going and playing there. Some clubs actually are joining now, so hopefully it will get better. Of course, you have to understand that we have a big debt at the golf course. We're still paying for it. So when you subtract what we pay for the golf course, that adds to the deficit as well. So if you subtract the debt and say, pretend we don't owe on it, it's doing well. And when we pay it off in 10 years or so, we'll be okay.
Thank you, Attorney Kabler.
You're welcome.
The other area I want to cover with you is the health insurance. If you read publications across the nation, there's always problems with health insurance. Costs runs a double-digit inflation as compared to 2 or 3% for the other CPI. We have been with TML since 2004. TML, in my opinion, has done wonders for us. If you look at 2004, we began the year, and this is at the very bottom of that particular slide, $148,228. That was our fund balance. At the end of 2004, we ended the year with $1,907,405. Now, before I go on, we have not raised the premiums for many years. We have been able to maintain the same premium for many years. If you look up at on 2004, towards the top, you have stop loss reimbursement of $435,259. That definitely helped the fund generate more funds. One of the things that TML does for us is that they go out and they act as our third-party administrator, but they also go out and look for stop-loss insurance. And they stay on top of those claims that exceed the amounts. In this case, in 2004, it was $100,000. Individual claims that exceed $100,000. Well, they make sure that they go out and talk to the stop-loss carrier at the time so we can get our refund. I, as finance director, don't have to worry like I have in the past, get on the phone, talking to the insurance company, asking them for how do we stand with, I know this particular claim has exceeded the maximum amount of, in this case at that time was $100,000, writing letters, when are we getting our refund? I don't do that. TML does that for us. 2005, look at the stop-loss reimbursements that we got in 2005. $166,012 for 2004 and $1,414,275. Now, I realize that we had a bad year that year. If we get refunds of $1.4 million, that means we had some very large cases, claims. We had an insurance. We had stop-loss to protect us. Look at the premium that we were paying for the $1,414,000 refund that we got. At the very bottom of that slide, under specific stop-loss and aggregate stop-loss, our premiums were $556,000 for the specific stop-loss and $22,000 for the aggregate. That particular policy that we purchased paid for itself. We look at 2006. 2006 didn't look as good because, again, the claims are high, medical costs are high. It is not going to stop. It's going to continue. So we are going to have to work on this particular fund. In 2006, we paid premiums of $646,000 for the specific and $25,000 for the aggregate. We only had refunds of $421,000. This year, in 2007, for the 6 months, we have had only refunds of $7,685 and $153,000 out of $488,000 in premiums. So as you can see that our fund balance is slowly going down. We are going to have to probably stop and probably talk to our employees, and hopefully our collective bargaining employees will come in and work with us in adjusting some of the premiums, because or the general fund has to kick in more money, one of the two. But that's something that we would certainly want to talk to you about, that in the immediate future, so to speak, we will be addressing this. Workers' comp, again, TML is also handling our workers' comp. We had large claims, but today, for instance, we had some members of TML meeting with the department directors and emphasizing us how to reduce some of the costs associated with injuries, how we can prevent all the injuries at the city. And we have seen an improvement. We're now starting to see an improvement on our workers' compensation. If you look at the 2008 budget versus, and I see the reason why I have the budget 2008 here is because we already have the payroll and we already have the rates. But because workers' compensation is based on payroll. The higher the payroll, the more expenses you pay. But right now we see our 4% decrease in our in our workers' compensation. This schedule, on this particular slide, gives you all the categories, of classifications of employees. And you can see on the last column, you see all the minuses, all the rates are actually now starting to come down. And again, we have to credit, not only TML, but we also have to credit our department directors for trying to make sure that the injuries are reduced. And finally, and this is the end, this is the investments for the city. This is the comparison between last year and this year, and that slide tells you how the money was invested. We're going out for depository services in a few more weeks. Right now we have First National Bank as our depository. First National Bank on our contract is paying us 2.65% for all our demand accounts, all our checking accounts, and we try to spend as much money on the investment pools. But we had, at the end of June, we had $81,057,000 for the city. Along with that, we also invest money for our three other agencies, the BCIC, the Public Improvement District, and the GBIC. And those are included there.
What do we do for the PID? Isn't that, what is?
We handle the city staff. There's the finance departments, the city secretary's office, and then sometimes the purchasing department assists them, in their bidding requirements. We handle all their accounting form, and the city secretary provides all the minutes. We have an agreement, interlocal agreement between the Paseo de la Resaca and the city, that we provide the services for free. And the reason why we agreed to provide them for free is because under some law in the state, that's if you have a public improvement district and you have city property in that improvement district, you're subject to a tax, to an assessment. So at the time when this thing was set up, the city commission at the time decided, and the PID board decided, well, we'll waive the assessment with the understanding the city provide the services. And we meet once a month. Finance, our department, we provide them financial reports, investment reports. We also handle the audit, and when the audit comes.
The people that live in Paseo del Plaza, the whole district over there, they pay a PID tax. Where does that money go?
It goes to the PID. They pay 20 cents per assessed valuation. That's what it does.
None of that PID goes to the city for us to go clean those areas in there. So the people are paying a double tax then, right?
Well, that's I guess when this thing was created, they went ahead and with the thought of improving the area. They have issued debt to construct the park inside the area, and the way it was set up is that not only the citizens living in the public improvement district can use the park, but also the citizens of Brownsville can go in and use it. Mostly it's just a trail, and
exactly. But the taxes from the PID, from those people, my brother-in-law lives there, my sister lives there, so they're paying a tax.
They pay an additional 20 cents.
Additional tax.
20 cents per $100 valuation.
Shouldn't that money
on top of the other taxes?
Shouldn't that money be coming to the city for improvements in what they're doing inside that area?
The majority of the monies that are being spent is to take care of
For that
the
area.
debt service, and it's strictly just for that. Well, that's just for that area.
That's what I'm saying. Our city crews that go in there, they're going in there through all our taxes,
It's a
and the
city,
people that live in there pay a tax, but none of that tax money is coming back to the city for us going in there, taking care of all that stuff.
well, the reason I think the city goes in there is because it's a city park. We took it over, right? Is that correct? And we meet every second Wednesday? once a month, right, Pete, you're there.
Yeah.
So they shouldn't even have to be paying a
The,
pit
the,
tax then, right?
the Parks Department just recently requested some funding, and I believe they
And
allocated,
from the pit board, I think we,
50,000 for equipment, because we are using, city personnel, Parks Department to do some of their maintaining the yards, landscaping.
Pete, I don't know if you'd help answer this, but obviously, anyone who wanted to own a home in that area knew that they'd basically be paying
A double tax?
the PID tax and so forth.
I believe that when you sign the document,
It's
it
on top
should
of
be
the
written
contract.
there. Should be written, I don't,
No, I have no problem with that. I have a problem with them paying a double tax, and then some of that PID money is not coming back to the city for our crews going in there. That's the problem I have.
Then
Well, we'll
the area-
discuss that.
Then the area
We'll discuss
shouldn't,
that in a different time.
Commissioner, then the area
An
shouldn't be
additional
public then.
$2.
It shouldn't be a public area then. If you got people,
Yeah.
going out there and having a good time,
So where
if
does
they're
that,
not paying a
where does
dime.
the PID tax go then?
Well, we're talking about the
You
budget,
said-
right?
Yeah, budget.
well, the financial report.
We'll address that another day.
That concludes my report.
Thank you very much.
I'll move to acknowledge the report, and I wanna thank you, Pete. Continue to be, conservative,
Thank you.
trying to keep us in the black. So move to acknowledge.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No. All right, thanks everybody for coming. City employees, I know there's food in the back. Go eat. I know you ought to stay through all this stuff.
Make a motion
I
to
reckon-
adjourn.
I'll make.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.